It's Wrestling Uncensored time. Tonight on the show, we preview AEW's All In London. Yes, indeed. AEW's All In this weekend. Coming up on Sunday, big pay-per-view from All Elite Wrestling at Wembley Stadium in London, England. And we are back again with Johnny North, my main man. Johnny, finally. It's been so long since we've been together here on a Friday night. It feels like an eternity. Last week, it was the Simon Brothers in full effect because you were wrestling, and we're going to get the full story on that, how the match went last weekend. And then the week prior, we had to cancel the show last minute because of a family emergency. Everything is fine now. People were sick and things had to be taken care of, and it just didn't work out. But so it's been like 3 weeks since we've been together, John, on a Friday night. So we're back. Welcome back. And what a weekend to come back. AEW's All In. Pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with you. It feels like it's been forever. We do this every week almost. So when you have like a 2-week break, it feels like it lasts for so long. It feels like it's been months almost, but it hasn't, thankfully.
Yes, and we are back, and I'm happy to be back with you on a Friday night, Johnny, to do this, to talk wrestling. We got a lot of wrestling to talk about. AEW's All In is this weekend. I'm excited about it, but before we get to All In, we're going to get to some WWE stuff as well here on the show. Of course, we saw SmackDown. Solo Sikoa was there, Kevin Owens, and Cody Rhodes. I thought the best thing on the show was a video package, but we'll get to that. I think you know which video package I'm talking about, John.
I'm wondering, are you talking about the one in Germany in 94? Or in 97, I mean?
All the Brad and Owens stuff. That was great. Narrated by Natty. That was tremendous.
That was good, but that Raw in particular, I remember not being so good. And that was like one of the lowest rated Raws like of all time. And like that's what set WWE back at the time. Like they had to change everything up because Vince was so mad with that episode. So although like they can claim how it is now and how that was great and landmark, and Owen versus Bulldog was fantastic. Don't get me wrong, that's always good. But at the time, that's heel versus heel. Like people just did not care for that match. It just was poorly put together in a sense. You shouldn't have had that as your European title final tournament.
I just like seeing those people highlighted though on SmackDown tonight. I mean, I don't want to go back in the booking at the time in 1997, John. We don't have the time.
Okay.
We don't have the time. And I frankly don't remember the context. So I don't want to go there. But I just thought it was cool that they showed so much Brett and Owen and Bulldog. When's the last time they showed Owen Hart on a WWE program?
That's a great point. I mean, look at all the people we saw, like Brett, Owen, Bulldog, Mankind, Chris Jericho. There was a lot of people you don't usually see on WWE programming actually on like the episode. And they talk about them too. It's not just like, oh, they're in the background whatsoever. Like Daniel Bryan, they mentioned him on Raw, losing to Sheamus in 18 seconds, but they still mentioned him.
It's interesting. The stance has changed. Right?
Yes, and no. I mean, you know, they'll mention Bryan when he loses in 18 seconds, of course. They'll put that over. Like, yeah. Like, little thing. And Jericho got beat up by Kevin Owens. You know, it's not like Jericho had an over in that situation. It was Jericho getting beat down by Kevin. Which, by the way, that Kevin thing, that was kind of weird. It's like, yeah, he turned on Sammy, he turned on Jericho, he turned on Kofi. But John Cena, he didn't turn on. Like, he just came out and attacked John Cena. There was no turn whatsoever. They were never a team, Cena and Kevin. Mm-hmm. Kevin, that was the first feud for Kevin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but I mean, they were, trying to just find things, right? They were just, you're right. You are correct about that. But they were just trying to find moments They showed that on SmackDown, right? They were telling Cody Rhodes, it was Grayson Waller and Austin Theory telling Cody Rhodes, look, Kevin Owens is going to turn on you. He's a bad friend. Look at all these people he's turned on. They show Sami Zayn a few times getting turned on, Chris Jericho, which it was interesting that they showed Jericho on TV, even though he did get beat up, John, and was still like, oh, what, that's interesting. Jericho on their TV. And because, under Vince, they wouldn't have shown that. They wouldn't have done that segment with Jericho included.
That's true.
And they also showed Kevin turning on Kofi Kingston and the New Day. And then I thought the best part about all that was when Kevin Owens came out and said, all those people deserved what they had coming to them, except Kofi Kingston. He's great. I'm very sorry about that. Again, Kofi, which I thought was funny. Kofi is great. Everybody loves Kofi. Although Wood's getting a little upset, right?
Well, a little bit. I mean, they're teasing that, but I feel in the end, because right now it's still New Day is just Xavier and Kofi.
Yeah.
Like Odyssey's kind of like a guest for them, and like Kofi wants to have them part of it, but officially it's still just Xavier and Kofi. Like they had the Turtles outfit, Odyssey didn't.
Yeah, because Woods didn't want Kofi to try and replace Big E with this new guy. There's no replacing Big E, and you can't just bring in Odyssey as a new third member of the New Day. I don't think it works.
Well, it's just for backup because they're outnumbered. I mean, it makes sense, and it gives Odyssey a spot finally. I mean, I think over a year he's been on the Raw roster not being used. He was drafted, I think, like twice,
right,
and not used, so it's finally a place for him. I think it's good for him, and he's the talent. I think his gear doesn't look that great, but eventually he'll get New Day gear, so that will help him, I think.
I don't think he's going to get New Day gear, because when Kofi tagged him in the match, Woods was mad.
Yeah, for now.
Woods is not accepting this guy in the group. Something's happening there. I'm interested in what's going on with the New Day. I like that there's like inner turmoil with Woods and Kofi, and they got a story going with Odyssey Jones, and Big E's name is being talked about here because that's a real thing that's going on with the group. Like, it's not quite the same without Big E, and maybe if they got a new third guy, a big dude like Odyssey Jones might be a good fit, but can you really do that? Is Big E replaceable? Can you put in Odyssey Jones and say, well, this is the New Day now, I don't know. I don't think so. As a fan of the New Day, of the three-man group, I would have a hard time accepting Odyssey Jones as like the new Big E. I wouldn't be happy with that. And Angelo Contagonis, they're saying Big E probably won't wrestle again. Be that as it may. Even though he'll never wrestle again, it doesn't mean they need to add a third member. Because that would be replacing Big E. Ryan Katz saying Big E should appear and endorse Odyssey Jones. Maybe. I just don't think... Because no matter what, Odyssey Jones won't be Big E. He's not Big E. He's not.
Right.
He's got a different character. He doesn't have the same personality. He doesn't have that same pop. And he could go and do a Big E impression, but that would be weak. He could try and be Big E, try to do all the Big E dance moves, try and do that stuff. But it's not, you'll be able to see through it. I don't know. It's an interesting question that they're posing here in the story, and it's an interesting story that they're telling with Woods and Kofi, and Kofi on the one hand trying to bring him in, Woods on the other hand not really accepting it. And as a guy who really loves the New Day, I see it. I feel that story on Raw. That's one of the few things I enjoy on Raw. I'm more interested in that than them versus Karrion Kross and his goons. Like, I don't really care about that. I'm more interested in what's going on with Kofi and Woods,
It's tough because history has been very giving towards teams that kind of changed up a little bit. You look at new waves of teams like the new Rockers that didn't quite work out like as the old Rockers were. If you look at like LOD and then what LOD was afterwards, after Hawk with Heidenreich. I mean, not that they weren't somewhat successful, but still not great. But Midnight Express, I think people would say both forms of those teams, that was pretty good. So again, there's examples where it could work, but far and few between where it's truly successful. I wouldn't expect them to reach that level that they've reached in the past. I mean, 10, 11-time tag team champions? I'm not expecting New Day to reach that, but I think to be a formidable group in WWE, it's not impossible. Again, Odyssey is 2 weeks in now? I mean, we're just seeing what he can do here. Give him a chance.
I just don't like the idea of replacing Big E Langston. There's no replacing him.
I don't look at it as it's not the New Day, it's the new Day. That's the way I look at it now.
Which I don't like either. Although the new Bloodline's working out, kinda.
Yeah, I don't know about you, and like I've just noticed it this past week. We've just changed the two top factions on both groups. Like they're both the same names, but they're kind of different now. It's like a new Bloodline, it's a new Judgment Day. Like they're doing the same thing on both shows. They always seem to. We have these parallel universes almost in a sense where the same things happen on both shows. And it kind of takes away a little bit because it's happening on both shows and it feels like it's a lesser version of what we saw before.
Yeah, but they're telling different stories, right? With Dominic and with Liv Morgan now joining the whole Judgment Day group. And Priest and Rhea losing the belts and kind of off on their own. That's a different thing. And then there's Roman versus all of the Bloodline and all of that. Like, I get what you're saying, but I think they're doing well on both sides of it. You know? Like, I'm not displeased with either story. I think they both make sense, given what's happened. We've had two big heel groups running on both shows for so long, it makes sense that it's kind of splintered off into where we are now. I don't know.
I'll agree. Bloodline. I find Bloodline, that's pretty decent because I feel Roman elevates it to another level because he's pretty much one of the top stars in the company, if not the top star in the company. Mm-hmm. Judgment Day, it's kind of all over the place. Like you don't know who the leader is. Like Dom and Liv are doing their own little thing. Finn's doing something. Sometimes it gets a little goofy with them just playing video games. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes it can get serious. So like it's hard to really gauge what Judgment Day is or what they do.
Yeah, that's true. Right now they're mostly about Dominic and Liv and Rhea. And Priest is just along for the ride, kind of, right?
Just this is the scary thing. They love doing that. They did this past week too in the Sheamus match where they do the whole creep from behind thing. The guy just comes from behind and like a bear.
But yeah, I agree with you that Judgment Day is not working as well as the Bloodline, and I think it's because they don't have a clear-cut leader. Who's the leader of the Judgment Day? Is it Dominic Mysterio? And if it is, like, the Judgment Day was at its peak when they had Rhea Ripley as their clear-cut leader. Everybody kind of fell in line. Everything was working well. The group was getting over. But now you look at them, and it's kind of a group of jabronis. You know? Like, Dominic isn't really booked that strong. JD and Carlito are not booked that strong. And Finn is kind of, once in a while he'll win a match, but he's not booked particularly strong. They were pushing Priest. They were pushing Rhea. So now without them, the group is kind of weak, leaderless, and kind of just, goons to get beat up. So I don't know what the future is, but unless they find a clear-cut leader, and fast, they're going to be in trouble in the next month or so. because you're going to run out of reasons to care. Once this Liv Morgan, I mean, they have the match next week, right? It's Bash in Berlin. It's Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest against Dominic and Liv Morgan. Once they have that match, like, what's the end game here? Rhea gaining the women's title back from Liv? And, like, how long do we have to wait for that chase to be over? It's going to get real tired real fast.
I would think they might drag that out to Survivor Series. I can see that happen.
Mm-hmm. Maybe if you gave Rhea and Priest some backup, you know? But on their own, if all of Judgment Day decided to jump Damian Priest, I guess Rhea could just beat up Liv Morgan, and then what are they going to do to Rhea? That's the problem. Liv Morgan needs like a female backup too. They need extra people to help Liv Morgan. Where's Raquel Rodriguez?
Well, I think she's recovering or something, they said. She had to get some sort of surgery done or something, but I think she might be on the way back, possibly.
She'd be great in that
makes
role.
Sense. Yeah, I agree. There's history there, too. Makes sense.
Man, I'm good at that. Just threw that name off the top of my head. I didn't plan any of that. I'm just, how about Raquel Rodriguez, brother? I think that would fit. So hopefully they go in that direction. They need to add something to the group, right? To really solidify Dominic as, or maybe, Liv as the new leader. Give her some backup.
Well, it's what's worked for the bloodline, though, right? Like, they have an enforcer.
Mm-hmm.
They could fought too, kind of changed the whole look of the bloodline, and now they're really serious now because of him.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps.
An enforcer would be good. Raquel Rodriguez is a solid enforcer. Her to back up Liv Morgan to solidify Liv as the official leader of the group, because right now it's not clear who the leader is, and I think promo-wise, Liv is the one doing the bulk of the work, and she might be the best one of the whole group, other than Carlito, but they're not making Carlito the leader. I think he'd be the best leader. He'd be the most entertaining, but it's not in the cards, right?
Well, I would think Finn, but yeah, they don't push him hard enough. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just kind of there. And I know they're going to build towards a Finn Priest match, but it's like, it doesn't feel like it's even close. Like, clearly it'd be Priest over Finn. It feels like that'd be a mismatch. You almost need to make it a handicap match.
That's why you don't even want to see it. Like, I don't care to see that. Because, it's just a win for Priest. Who cares?
They'll do it at Bad Blood. I wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe. Johnny, how did your match go last weekend? Where were you?
I was in St. Ill. That's 10 hours north of Montreal. I don't know if you've ever been that far north.
Maybe no, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, neither had I at that point until this past weekend. Maybe a little bit past Quebec City. But, that's
not that far.
What?
I've been to Quebec City.
Okay. And then how far past Quebec City have you been?
Well, Quebec City is like 2 hours away. If you're saying 10 hours, I mean, you're talking very far past Quebec City, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. We had to take like a ferry to get where we had to go.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's, it was a pretty good distance. And plus, like, we left with the ring truck as well. So it was like me in a car, and there's, I think, maybe 3 or 4 other cars with the truck.
Cool.
So, and this was a part of the problem with the ferry, because it goes every 20 or 40 minutes, and we all got across except the truck. So that was great that we got 20 minutes, boom, we didn't have to wait that long, but we still had to wait another 20, 40 minutes to get for the truck to get across. So there was, like, we say 10 hours, it was more like 12 hours with all the stops and delays.
Uh-huh.
And the wonderful construction on the roads all the time.
Yeah.
That we have in Quebec. I mean, it's not just in Montreal. So there's a lot of, like, just long drives where it's just one lane, and there's just a lot of start and stops where you just have to wait. So actually, again, we're adding on more time here. It's quite long. Like we left, I think like 4:35 in the morning on Friday, and got there around like 6 p.m. That night.
Yeah, it's crazy that Quebec is so big that you could start driving, and then 10 hours, 12 hours later, you're still in Quebec. You know, the province is so massive that you could just go such long distances. It's so big. There's so many places to check out or avoid, depending on your feeling. So how was the match? Didn't you wrestle for a championship belt?
I wrestled for the British Commonwealth Championship. You see me wrestle for the British. Yeah, exactly, a former champion. And this was a 9-match card, and we were the 8th match. So we're the semi-main event. Like the only match before, like after us, was the hometown hero, the promoter. He wrestled in the main. So, but that wasn't a part of like, this was a whole Torture Chamber wrestling show except that main event match. So for the Torture Chamber wrestling, we were the main event. Just wasn't the last match that aired though.
I see.
And like just to be in an arena too, it was quite the atmosphere. Because again, you've been to Laval, you've seen the Torture Chamber shows.
Yeah.
It's at like a high school. We have good crowds there, but this is a different kind of environment when you're in an arena.
Wow.
Especially with the sound effects and everything in an arena. It's quite the experience. It's a different kind of wrestling experience too. And it was the first time, I think we mentioned this in the past couple of weeks, first time they've had wrestling in St. Ile in like 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people got their money's worth without question. Just basing off of the reaction, like first match, just the first lockup, and people are going crazy. So
you can imagine
win,
or what?
You're not the champion. I'll get to that. I am not the champion. I'll explain what happened because there's a lot of controversy that happened.
What happened?
So I have a manager named Shane Pinto. Great manager.
Shane Pinto. I know Shane Pinto.
Now, not the hockey player. I know some people get confused by that.
I don't know. I've never heard of the hockey player. I only know your manager, Shane Pinto.
That's good that you know that. I know some people might get confused. But he managed my tag partner earlier in the night, and they were victorious. Actually, no, Bjork's my former tag partner.
Oh, your tag team partner now is the caveman guy, right?
Also a former partner. He went on
you're not tag man. You drop more tag team partners than Kevin Owens, man. What's going on?
And my new tag team partner, his name is Yamanashi.
Yamanashi? Yeah. Is he a Japanese fella?
Of descent, maybe, yes.
Maybe?
But, I didn't get completely into it. And again.
Is he Asian at least?
Yes.
All right. Well,
we didn't get until the whole background.
In pro wrestling, if you're Asian, you could call yourself Japanese and you could be Samoan and call yourself Japanese. Look at Yokozuna. That dude was Samoan. He pretended to be a Japanese sumo champion. Same?
That's a prime example.
Yeah.
But my point is, Shane helped Yamanashi win earlier in the night.
Good.
And then Shane went on to manage Soa Min. I don't know if you remember
that guy.
Who Soa
I know
Min
him.
Is.
Yeah, he's mean.
Yeah, I think he's very mean. Like the son of Abdullah.
Yeah, he's a mean. Soa Amin.
So during that match, because there was a lot of chaos that happened, I think tables were thrown. I think a fork was used. I know someone said to use a fork. I'm like, someone used a fork already?
Not to eat, to stab, right?
The stab. Yeah, stab.
Yeah. In wrestling, we don't use forks to eat, brother. We use them to stab only. When we eat, it's with our hands.
It's a good weapon.
Hell yeah.
I don't disagree with that.
Forks are not utensils. They're weapons only. Go ahead.
During all this chaos that happened, my manager got decked in the back of the head by a fan.
What?
And that was
for real?
Yeah. For real. A fan just right to the back of the head. Yes. And
dude.
Shane went down.
What? Oh,
yeah.
No.
Well,
for
bam.
real?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
And this is the fun part too.
Is he
he's gotta
okay?
come. He's okay now. In the moment,
Did he get
was
knocked out or
very
what?
mad.
Just dropped or
He
out?
he just got dropped. He wasn't like knocked out or anything, but he got dropped.
Ooh.
Yeah. He wasn't too happy about it.
No shit. Did
And
he
I know
jump the guy after? Was there bedlam? Was there pandemonium?
there was a lot of chaos. Like I could hear. I didn't see it, but I heard it backstage. There was a lot of just craziness because I heard the bell ring, and yet it's getting crazier after the match is over. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? Like,
What's getting crazier?
You know,
What do you mean? Like the
well,
crowd noise?
The fact that the crowd noise, the fact that happened, and everyone thought, oh, the match is still going on here, but the match was over, but the chaos afterwards kind of overtook everything. And so,
what do you mean the match was over? He got punched after the bell rang?
The fork was used. I believe that caused a disqualification, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, and then he got punched?
Yeah, I believe it was after he got punched. Yeah, after the match was over.
Shane Pinto got punched, so the bell rings. Shane Pinto gets punched because somebody's mad that Soa Amin cheated to win. They punch him in the back of the head because they're stupid. And then you're just hearing the crowd start going nuts because what? I'm guessing Soa Amin went into the crowd and beat the ever-living shit out of that guy because I know Soa Amin, and that man is not to be played around with. I wouldn't mess around with him. It's a big man.
I think it just caused chaos. I don't know exactly who got hit. I didn't see that fan afterwards because I believe he got removed.
Oh, yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, but he didn't get passed through the locker room first?
No, I didn't get past the locker. No, I didn't. Well, at least I didn't see him because, like, when I got back there, he wasn't there. I didn't see him out in the ring. The only thing I had to deal with was the fact that when Shane came back, he was livid, as you could imagine. And he obviously wanted to go out there and take care of that person. And I did my best to try to just get him focused on the match. And I felt like every second word had to have been an F word. He was just like swearing beyond belief. And I'm like, and I understand you're mad. Just remember, kids show. Just try to, think about all that energy, use it, but, try to keep it family friendly and let's go out there.
Damn, homie. That's crazy. Okay, so he's mad and he's got to go manage again because you're in the next match?
Right away.
Right away.
There's no break, too.
Jeez.
Right away. Yeah.
So when he goes back out, can he see the guy or is the guy already gone?
The guy's already gone.
Uh-huh. Is there security?
There were people. I don't know if you'd call them security, but there was like people around or something.
Did anybody get a piece of the guy?
Oh, I don't believe so. I believe they were just told to move him out of the area. That's about it.
That's it?
As far as I know.
Dog. You got to get me in more of these shows. I work security
for
you. We'll take care of these.
I know
you hit somebody, man, you hit a manager, you do something like that, you're not supposed to walk out of there all right, man. You're supposed to get fucked up. That is bad. That is bad, man. That's bad for Shane Pinto, man. I hope he's okay.
I think he's okay now after the fact. I mean, he still tried to help me win the match. He got ejected from the match for trying to help me win. So, the crowd got they're full of Shane, without question, and he gave his full back. And I think he did his best not to swear too much, from what I remember.
Wow.
But yeah, he kept it together. But
he's a real bona fide pro wrestling manager now, right? That's a heel manager.
Well, that's what I kind of think too.
It's
like you clearly are doing your job very well if like they want to hit you, like if it goes that far.
Yeah. I'd be pissed too, though. That's funny. Well, he's doing a good job. He's definitely doing a good job. Unfortunately, because that fan attacked him, he was not in his full capacity to deliver a perfect performance as your manager right afterwards. And that's why you came up short in the match, because your manager was out of it. You were concerned because you're a compassionate guy. You care about your friends and your managers and everything. So you're thinking about your buddy. And, I mean, how are you supposed to deal with that when you have a title match coming up, right? It's a tough match. It's for the belt. And your manager that you care about is getting attacked right before. I mean, there's no way to plan for that. So I'm disappointed you didn't come home from the journey with a championship belt, but it's understandable because of your compassion more than anything, I think. And your care.
Well, I'll give.
Your mind was elsewhere.
I'll give. You're not wrong about that, but I'll give credit to the current champion, Wilson Colas. Like, he is a fantastic wrestler. I wrestled him last September, and then to wrestle him now, it's incredible. Like, the wrestler he is now compared to then. Like, he was good then. Now he's like great. Like, he's improved so much, and you can just tell, like, in the match, he kept up with me move for move, and like, he was willing to go with me too. Like, I gave him some pretty good chops. I chopped him right in the back, pretty good, and he took it and kept going. Like, there's this one moment in the match, like, he got me pretty good with like an slingshot elbow drop, and I'm like, ooh, ouch. So I go to get the ropes. I hang onto the ropes. He rips me off those ropes and just Germans suplex me over and over and over again. Like, he brought the fight. Well, I brought the fight, and he brought it back. There's no question about that. Like, Shane was there to kind of, help put the odds more in my favor. And he maybe got a little too emotional, I think, is what happened. And Wilson capitalized on us being out of sorts, but good on him for that, because that's what he needed to do.
Wow. Well, sounds like a great match. Too bad I couldn't see it.
It is too bad. Hopefully the video will be out one day. I would say it may have been the best match I did this year, and definitely one of the best matches I think I've ever had too.
Wow.
Which says a lot. Yeah, I know that says a lot too. It's funny too, because we do these like 10-hour car rides back and forth, and we're talking about our matches. And I've talked about the match. You were there for both of them when I wrestled Onyx, when I defended the title against Onyx, and then when I wrestled Onyx for the title again in the strap match. Yeah, you remember, like, to me, like, those matches, when you think about me, like, those are the matches that really stand out, I think.
I feared for your safety.
Both matches? Really?
The title defense more, I think.
Well, because they kind of ganged up on me a little bit, right? Like,
yeah, maybe that was it.
Yeah.
Those matches
match was tough
are some
too.
of my favorite matches of yours. I also, there's one match you had with Green Phantom years ago where there was garbage cans thrown. It was just like a hardcore match against Green Phantom. I think Prophet.
Oh, it's like in the Sheen or something,
yeah.
no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That match was a lot of fun. That was a really
Wasn't
good
there like an old lady that got hit with a garbage can or something?
Correct. That was part of the fun.
Right. Yeah. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen, but it happened.
I mean, you guys were going for it. That's what I'm saying. Like, Phantom was pushing you, and you were pushing back. It was really good. It was a good match.
Yeah, that was one of our better matches, me and Phantom, without question.
Yeah, it was great. Johnny, you're a great wrestler. If you're near anywhere that Johnny is wrestling, you should go see him wrestle because he's awesome. I got to go see one of your matches again soon. I haven't been in a while. I haven't seen one in a while. I'm going to go check you out soon. When is your next one?
When is my next? Well, it's a good question because I don't know if it's actually happening right now. But for Torture Chamber, I know it will be September 29th in Laval. You remember the location. It's right near Montmorency Metro.
Mm-hmm.
Very close. 1000 Boulevard d'Avenir, I believe. It's a school right there.
Yep.
And I believe bell time is usually at 4 p.m. Doors at 3 p.m. And tickets are 20 in advance, 25 at the door. So you definitely want to get them in advance. It pays off.
When is this again?
September 29th. So the last Sunday in September.
Okay. All right.
And
So
not
go
during
check out.
a PLE or pay-per-view. Thank God.
Wow. Hey, perfect. Even better for me.
Yeah.
So go check out Johnny Norris September 29th in Laval if you're anywhere near the area. I know our man Angelo Contagonis in the chat. He is in the area. Jason Pete, I think, is in Mexico, so not that close. Leor, shout out to Leor. He's also not that close out in New Brunswick. Shout out to all the members that I'm seeing in the chat here tonight over at join.ringsidereport.net. CSL Lorne, he is in Montreal, but his wife is in England, he says in the chat. So there you go.
Wow.
Maybe she's going to All In on Sunday. That would be nice.
I imagine our buddy Andy is probably going to be there. He was there last year.
Yeah, why not? If I was a wrestling fan anywhere near London, I'd be going to All In this weekend. Looks like a pretty good pro wrestling card. Just for Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland, I would buy a ticket, because if Bryan Danielson is wrestling anywhere near you, you should probably buy a ticket, because as Bryan Danielson said himself, finally said it himself, Bryan Danielson is the best wrestler in the world and has been for the past 20 years. And that promo he cut at the end of Dynamite, when he said that, the crowd went nuts. I went nuts. I was like, yes!
Swearing.
Yeah, he didn't exactly, I'm cleaning up his words. He
Yeah.
said he's the best fucking wrestler in the world and has been for the past 20 fucking years. And I said, you're fucking right you are, Bryan. You goddamn right. It's about time you stood in a ring and told everybody. It's the truth. It's a fact. And there's not a single pro wrestler on the planet that can dispute it. He's the best wrestler of his generation. He's the best wrestler in the past 20 years plus. Since he's been wrestling, there hasn't been a better guy in the business. That includes all your favorites. He is the number one. What a promo. What a promo to close Dynamite. Bryan fucking Danielson. He's winning the belt on Sunday, and I can't wait. I can't wait. He's going to do it for
It's
Brody.
funny. But we talked about this, just chatting, you and me. And I sent you a thing how it's funny how people are going to be booing his daughter.
No one's booing the daughter.
Oh, if they show her on TV, they're definitely going to boo her.
Why? Because she wants her dad to herself, and she doesn't want him to get hurt in the wrestling ring anymore. And he says that he's going to retire for her. You can't boo a 7-year-old girl for wanting her daddy. That's rude. If any wrestling fan would do that, they are out of line. Don't boo Bryan Danielson's daughter. You think Bryan Danielson wants you to boo his daughter? If you're such a big Bryan Danielson fan that you can't bear the thought of him retiring, and you're so pissed at his daughter for telling him to retire, why don't you do him the favor and show him the respect by having a little class and not booing his fucking daughter? I don't care how much you love me. If you boo my kid, I hate you. That seems pretty fair. You can say, Dave, I love you. You're the best. Oh, I'm your biggest fan. I can't every show. And if my kids say, stop doing the show, we want you to stop, and then I do, and then you're mad at the kids, well, fuck you. I mean, they come first, as they should. Bryan Danielson has his priorities in order, as he should. That's what makes him such a great wrestler. It's part of what makes the character and the man that is Bryan Danielson. It's part of why we love and respect him so much. Because he's an honorable man. He's the last real honorable guy in pro wrestling. He's the best. Don't boo the daughter. That's fucking crazy.
I wouldn't put it past fans to do it because they're pretty rowdy. I mean, that's what made Dynamite a lot of fun this week. I have to say, like UK fans are fantastic. Like, but they're very rowdy, and they say a lot of things that you may not agree with. But they're very passionate. So some things are going to come out you might not like the fact that who they were chanting like you sold. Like they were chanting to MJF that you sold out, which was like ridiculous. Given what the whole thing was about, like he sold out to AEW because he sold out for money, and it's like what? But they were chanting, "You sold out!" Like it was ridiculous, but that's what it was. See,
I don't even understand why they would. That promo was good too. The MJF Will Ospreay promo. Dynamite was very good this week.
Show.
Yeah.
Again, the crowd.
Yeah.
Like the whole atmosphere was incredible. Like that was. For crowd wise, it was probably the best Dynamite we've seen this year.
Yeah. But it wasn't just the crowd. Like the show was well put together. It was a really good go home show. AEW.
That's true.
I feel like they have had a problem with their pay-per-views where the go home show just doesn't hit. It doesn't make you more excited for the pay-per-view. It just kind of goes, okay, we've done all the talking, and we're just going to give you what we have left. And there's not much, you know? Let's profile the undercard on the go-home show. And you're like, why? But on this Dynamite, they profiled the big matches. They closed it with a promo for the world title, main event. They had a big promo for MJF and Ospreay. They had a big match for Tony Storm. They threw Okada and Claudio in there to give you a kick-ass wrestling match. And then they transitioned that into the Young Bucks and FTR and a six-man tag there. I mean, they did well. They did well to build the pay-per-view, and it was, I think, their best go-home show in at least a year. Best final TV before a pay-per-view that they've done in a very long time.
Oh, I completely agree with you on that one. The only thing is that I feel maybe Claudio and Okada, maybe that shouldn't have been a draw. I think the crowd, they were into it, but I don't think they were completely into it that they needed to see it go to a draw, though. But besides that, that's nitpicking, though.
I agree.
Besides that, it was still a very good show.
I think you could have just given Okada a win.
Yeah.
Why does he have to draw Claudio? I think he should have beat Claudio.
Well, I think because they want to redo, because there's another pay-per-view in 2 weeks, right? So you're going to see a lot of, like, a match for All In has stakes for All Out.
Yeah.
So that's why.
I think Hangman wins a Casino Battle Royal, gets a title shot, and beats Bryan at All Out.
Maybe, sure. I mean, who else is in this Casino Battle? Like, we know Gauntlet, whatever it's called. Like,
let's get into it, brother. Let's preview this thing.
Okay.
I don't know. How many people do they have in it normally?
I believe the way this works, it's like people just keep coming out until the match is over.
Until somebody gets a pin on somebody.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to finish it early because the longer it goes, the more crazy it could get.
Because people have said in the past that they were supposed to come out, but the match ended. So that could easily happen in this kind of match. But I expect you'll see a lot of the big stars that come out. I would hope we get to see some surprises. I think this could work because this is a good spot for surprises. This is a good spot for Bobby Lashley if he's going to show up.
That's why Orange Cassidy won a match to get the number one entry in this match, because the earlier you are, the better your chances, right? You want to get in early to try and get a win quick. A roll-up wins the whole match. You could roll up, Kyle O'Reilly or Evil Uno. Evil Uno said he's in the match. It could be Orange and Uno, and Orange could just beat Uno in like a minute, and then nobody else comes out, and then, there goes the match. Sorry, Hangman.
Yeah, I saw like there was but I saw complaints about that. Oh, he got the number one spot. Like, that's stupid to have. But actually, the way this match works, that's the best thing, actually, is to get the number one spot.
Orange does have a lot of like little pin moves, little roll up things, you know? Try to get
I don't think he's going to win, but.
No. No, like I said, I think Hangman wins. So far, we have Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Hangman Page, Evil Uno, and Roderick Strong. I mean, come on. Of those guys, who do you think?
Yeah, of course. It has to be Hangman. If you put Moxley in there, I'm like, maybe, but I don't think Moxley's even there.
No. Where's he at?
I think he's on vacation, which I understand. He's had a rough time.
Good for him. Take the vacation, man. Rest your body. Preserve yourself. If they don't have anything major for you now, chill until they do. Chill until it's worth coming back for. So Hangman to win that casino gauntlet for an AEW title shot?
Yeah. Well, at All Out, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Darby's got the shot at Grand Slam, so that'll be interesting.
He'll wrestle Hangman, and Hangman will beat him because Darby beat Hangman a couple weeks ago. Right?
I get that's who you're thinking, but we'll go one at a time. All In. I'll say Hangman to win this match.
It's all part of it, John. I'm just picking up the clues as they come. That's all.
It's interesting. I mean, that does make a lot of sense. However, it's AEW, and yes, like it can make sense and then go completely different direction.
If I'm right on this, I'm like a wrestling genius, though. Like I'm really seeing all the steps along the way, right? I mean, come on. This is a good theory. If Bryan wins a belt and then wrestles Hangman at All Out and Hangman beats him, I mean, I called this miles away. And I don't know anybody else that called this one.
I feel like it's too much for Bryan to lose right away, though. Like finally win the final win title and then he just loses right away. Kind of crummy.
That's how his title runs have always gone. Have you not followed his story?
Well, I mean, change it up a little bit. Like, have something, like...
No.
Get at least a Wrestle Dream.
Unnecessary. I think it's all unnecessary. Because it's not about Bryan having a long title reign. It's about Bryan having the one big match because he is slowing down. He is wrestling without a contract. He does want to wrestle part-time, and you can't wrestle part-time as a world champion. He doesn't want to take up the title as a part-time wrestler. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to do the right thing and further the storyline of the two guys that are really pushing the main event in AEW, which, that's Hangman and Swerve. He beats Swerve, but really beating Swerve helps Swerve long term. It's a loss for Swerve, but it's a win for Swerve because the belt will go to Hangman, and then who's the next logical opponent for Hangman after Hangman maybe beats and semi-retires Bryan? Swerve.
I'll always argue I think it's better for Swerve to beat Bryan because that's a huge thing for Swerve to always say that I ended Bryan Danielson. That's bigger than that whole it comes around to Hangman again. Now, being Bryan, that's better.
But Bryan said he won't wrestle another match if he loses.
That's great for Swerve. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but let's talk real world here, John.
I know.
You think that's the
problem.
Case? Come on.
It won't happen.
That's what I'm saying.
It is a problem.
Let's be real here. Bryan's not going to never wrestle again after Sunday night. Come on.
It'd be awesome if it was, but it won't be, sadly.
Do you not like good wrestling? What's your problem?
I mean, the guy needs to get neck surgery. He's got to stop for a little bit anyways.
So win the belt and then take time off after you lose it to Hangman. 2 more matches. 2 more. And then you're off for a while, and then who knows?
It's good that you'll get to finally get his moment. That's good. You've been waiting for this for so long. So many times he's failed, and he's come up short. So he finally gets a moment. That's good for him.
That's what we want. I just want the moment. I'm his biggest fan. I don't know if anybody loves Bryan Danielson as much as I do.
I would hope his wife does. But
Yeah, even then, I'm not sure. I love him a lot, John. You know how much I love this guy. I think my brother and I were the first guys to chant yes with Daniel Bryan. To be fair, I think we were the first.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because I was into it from day one, and people, it was a heel move at first. He was a heel, and people were hating him, and he was supposed to be annoying, but it actually took off. But I'm pretty sure I was on board right away. I knew exactly what he was doing. Took it from Diego Sanchez, because Diego Sanchez walked out to a UFC fight one time going, yes, yes, yes. And then that's what Bryan did first. He wasn't doing this at first. He just, yes, yes, yes. He was just doing the Diego Sanchez, and then it just kind of morphed and turned into this whole thing. But I spotted it right away, and a few people were into it, but I'm telling you, he's always been the best. He's always been the best. It's been obvious since the first time I saw him wrestle. Like, oh, this guy's something different. He's the best. He's going to win the belt. I can't wait to see it. There's been so many tough moments being a Daniel Bryan fan. The retirement, when he had to retire and he does that speech, like, I cried like a baby. It was horrible.
He had the same shirt.
Was he wearing the same shirt? He was, wasn't he?
He was.
I almost cried watching the promo. Like, I was close. Watching that promo he did from Cardiff there on Dynamite this week, I was like, oh, man, goosebumps. Like, it was powerful.
The setup was good. I liked how, like, Nigel didn't let him come out at first. Like, Swerve did a lot of talking, then he came out. That was a good setup. I liked the way it was done.
He's given everything to pro wrestling. He fucking loves pro wrestling. He is pro wrestling.
What did Nigel say again? He called him the neck break kid or something?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I like that good. One. That's really good. Oh, Nigel McGuinness. Classic rival and tag team partner of Bryan Danielson.
See, that's a match you would think would be Bryan's last match.
Next year.
I think
next year at Wembley.
That would be Forbidden Door. I don't know if you saw the announcement for that or.
Oh, are they doing Forbidden Door in England?
That's it. Yeah.
Cool. I could see that. Yeah, but Bryan's gonna win the belt, right, John?
Yeah, Bryan's gonna win the belt. It'll be a good moment for him. I would love to see him lose, but I think it's gonna happen. I think Bryan's gonna win. And we'll be doing the yes. Because he brought back the yes, actually, too. Like, I don't know if people caught that as much. He brought that whole back, yeah. Everyone was doing it.
Everyone was doing it.
We had over 50,000 plus doing it, I'm sure.
Oh, man. He's the best. Tremendous. All right. What else is on this pay-per-view, John? How about a four-way London ladder match for the AEW World Trios Championship? The Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Killswitch, and Nick Wayne, champions defending against the Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson and the Gun Boys, versus the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, versus Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta. Why is Pac with them?
Well, that's a spoiler because that was the wild card match that's going to happen on Collision tomorrow. They taped Collision. Yeah. You spoiled it by accident there. But
I'm trying to preview this card, and I have the card in front of me. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know if a lot of people are watching Collision tomorrow anyways, but they taped it after Dynamite. And they won the match because, again, Moxley's on vacation. And the Lucha Brothers seem to be gone from AEW, so this is how everyone got their moment. And Claudio, by the way, I believe he was in Wales, is going to Mexico Friday to wrestle, and then is coming back Sunday to do this match.
Whoa.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, I know.
Dedicated.
Pretty good wrestler, I have to say. I don't think they're going to win, though. I think Christian, Killswitch, Nick Wayne, I think they're going to retain just because I think we're going to see so many title changes. So that will limit, I think, other title changes. So I'm thinking no title change on this one.
Yeah. I think Nick Wayne and Killswitch also sacrificed themselves somehow to allow Christian to climb the ladder and get the win.
Should be crazy, though. I mean, that's a lot of people in a ladder match.
Could be fun. But I agree with you. I think the patriarchy will retain, and I do think we will see quite a few title matches, or title changes, sorry. We have a lot of title matches, so obviously some changes will happen. The Young Bucks. Ooh, will we see a change here? Young Bucks defending the tag team titles in a triple threat tag match against FTR and the Acclaimed. I don't think we see a title change here either, though. I think the Young Bucks will retain.
Yeah, I agree. I think if there would be a title change, it would just be 2 teams instead of 3. So I think the Bucks get out of this one. But maybe they'll lose that all out. Possible. I could see them losing against FTR. If it was just FTR. I could see them losing to the Acclaim. If it was just Acclaim. But because it's 2 teams, it'll be the Bucks, I think.
Yeah, even it all out, I don't know if you drop the belts off the Bucks now. They're in such a heavy run. It seems too early to take the belts off of them.
That's a good point. Yeah, maybe do all the Elite together in a match. That could happen.
Like where they all put their belts on the line?
No, they'll do like 8-man tag or something. I could see something like that all out. Because I mean, a lot of matches, they're just going to be thrown together, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, how about Chris Jericho defending the FTW Championship? If Hook loses, not only does he not win the belt, but he can never challenge Jericho again for this belt. So I guess he'll win?
I mean, he doesn't have to win, but I feel like because Hook's been gone for so long, I feel like the story's been pushing for this, that Hook is going to win. So I would go with Hook.
I'd go with the Hookster, too. Mercedes Moné defending the TBS Championship against Dr. Britt Baker, the DMD. I think the promo with Britt and Mercedes was very good. The crowd was really into it, added a whole new dimension. Great to have the show in Cardiff, Wales on the lead up to the London pay-per-view on Sunday. That crowd was hot, and especially hot for this promo. I thought both women did a great job. I think Mercedes Moné will wind up retaining her championship with help from her new backup, Camille. I don't think Britt Baker beats Mercedes yet. Maybe down the road, but Mercedes is so new. This is her second match in AEW, third maybe. I don't think she loses this one, but it is Britt's return match, so I don't know. But I think Mercedes probably wins with, some cheating, outside interference.
I mean, you say it's Britt's. I mean, Britt has wrestled before, since she stepped back. So, yeah, I don't think Britt wins. I would hope we get to see a Jamie Hayter appearance at least. Yeah, I think Mercedes wins this one.
I thought it was cool that we saw Paige versus Sasha Banks on Dynamite this week.
That's not what happened.
No, sorry. It was Paige versus Tony Storm. I just thought it was cool to see Paige wrestling on Dynamite. Paige versus Sasha Banks would be cool, though. Can we see that?
That would be good, too.
Yeah.
But that's why, before I had Tony Storm winning, because I'm like, it doesn't make sense for Tony to lose right now because there's still a story with Saraya. But they did that right before it. No, they've been building that whole Saraya-Tony thing for a while. That was been since I feel like Double or Nothing. They've been talking about that match, and Saraya's been trying for that match. They had to do that match, but they finally got it in, and because they got it in, now that's it for that was Tony's last big story to do, and now I think she's going to lose now.
Yeah, I think Tony's definitely losing. I wasn't even paying attention to anything with Saraya. I didn't know that they had a story even going. Maybe that was happening on Collision. I don't know. I didn't know it was happening. All I know is that Mariah May and Tony Storm, that's been Tony's main story this whole time. Mariah's turned on her. Mariah is from England. It's her time. She's going to win the belt. I've got Mariah May. Tony's been champion forever. I've got Mariah May, new AEW Women's World Champion.
Did Tony win at Full Gear or World's End? I think it was Full Gear, if I'm not mistaken. I think she beat Sheeta, right, at Full Gear. And there's a correction, by the way, from last week. I know you guys said that Toni Storm lost the title to Saraya at All In last year. She got pinned, but she wasn't the champion. Sheeta was a champion going into All In last year.
You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
It's okay.
This is why I need you on the show every week, you know? Sometimes we say the wrong thing, and you have to come and correct a minor detail. It's very important.
For a minor thing, yes.
It's very important, John. When did Toni Storm, Double or Nothing, she beat Jamie Hayter?
But that was like her first or second. That was her second title reign. That was
her second.
Yeah. This one, I think.
Oh, yeah. She lost the title to Sheeta.
Right.
And then at All Out, Grand Slam, Timeless. I'm trying to figure out when she won it again.
I would think Full Gear, no? Or World's End.
Yeah, I think it was Full Gear.
There you go.
November of 2023.
Almost a year. Been a good almost a year. I mean, to me, she's the best women's wrestler on the planet right now.
Yeah. I agree.
And
Mariah May is very good, though. Like, elevating her is not a bad move. Like, I think Toni is slightly better, but, man, Mariah is very good.
Well, the main thing is to switch it is just because I think Tony's pretty much defended against all the top contenders. You'd have to build someone up brand new again. You build so much time into Mariah. It makes a lot of sense right now. Mm-hmm. And I think Mina's going to be there too, so you'll have a lot of shenanigans, I think, involved in this match.
Mariah May.
Come back.
That's a title change we're both predicting. Did you say Mercedes was going to retain? Did you agree with me on that one?
Yeah, I agreed with you on that one, yeah. I think we agreed all the way so far.
Yeah, we're agreeing on everything. I think some of these matches are a little predictable. I think Will Ospreay is going to take back the AEW American Championship and change it back to the International Championship.
Yep. Yeah, this is why I was holding back on title changes, because of these kind of title changes where it's like, yeah, this is like a lock. I feel that's almost like the lock of the whole show is this match.
Yeah, Ospreay has to get the win back on MJF.
That promo was like, wow. Like, that was probably the best, easily the best promo we've seen all year. One of the best promos, I think, ever in AEW. That was so good. MJF and Will Ospreay. Fantastic.
It was very good. It was very good. Who do you think got the better of it? I mean, the crowd was really with Ospreay.
Yep. I mean, just because MJF had the line about the wife at the end, to me that felt like it was the most like damaging, because it was the last kind of thing you really got in.
Yeah, but I don't know. Ospreay was crazy. The references that he was dropping that the fans in Cardiff got and MJF didn't, and I was like, what? And the crowd was popping like crazy for everything he was saying. MJF got like regular MJF reactions, like good reactions, big reactions, but Ospreay, like they were going nuts for Ospreay. Like crazy over.
What was crazy was that was a very long segment promo. Mm-hmm. But it was so good that, it's fine if there's like pretty much 20 minutes. Like, if it's a good back and forth, it's fine just to talk like that. If you can pull it off, do it. They did it.
Man. All that stuff about Ospreay saying, they loved you and now they love me. And MJF is like, they loved me because, you took it all from me. Like MJF, like kind of breaking and getting mad. Like, they used to love me and then you came along and ruined everything. Like, you see like the insecurities in MJF. Like, he's trying to play it off all. But you could see like, and there's the character level of that statement. And then there's like the real level of that statement. MJF saying he's the best in the world, Will Ospreay saying he's best in the world, and then you look at them both and you go, yeah, you both make a very interesting point. As far as the best guy going today, in their prime, killing it at the very top level, it's hard to say who is better. This is Stone Cold and The Rock for AEW. Like, they have something crazy here. They have these two guys locked down to contracts. Like, come on, man. They're able to create the magic in the ring, and they're able to create the magic on the microphone. And they're not going anywhere. And they're still very young. It's interesting. AEW has some talent right now that's growing and leveling up and just getting better and better. And you go, oh, okay. Swerve and Hangman, in their kind of mid-30s. Here's MJF and Ospreay in their 20s, kind of late 20s. They've got some young talent where the future is unbelievably bright.
Now you got Ricochet coming in. Apparently that's been confirmed, I guess, that he signed like a big multi-year deal with AEW. He's probably going to show up at Wembley. Like, out of all the surprises, that's what I'm expecting the most, is Ricochet showing up.
It would be a pretty big surprise if Ricochet showed up and actually cost Ospreay the match.
I don't see that. I think maybe an appearance in the Gauntlet or just a thing to show up. I think first match probably be at All Out. I hope so. I think that pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it. Maybe show up just to confront Ospreay, whatever, after the match. I don't think they're costing the match, though.
Right now you're telling me that Ricochet and Bobby Lashley are going to show up in the Casino Gauntlet? What is this, Raw from a year and a half ago? No, thank you.
It's not bad.
It'd be weird, though. You're like, weren't you guys just wrestling each other? Where's Bronson Reed? Shouldn't he be part of this? Or Shinsuke Nakamura? Or whatever it was?
Nakamura disappeared, too. Like, we haven't seen him in months, apparently.
Yeah, where's he at?
Well, I mean, you get hurt. It happens. I imagine he's probably a little banged up, And what were they doing with him?
I just saw him on Instagram posting about doing a jiu-jitsu class.
Well, that's better than what they're doing with him on TV, because...
I mean, how injured can he be? You know what I mean?
Well, maybe not that hurt, but still. What was he doing on TV? Do you remember his last big feud? With Cody, I think it was.
Cody, yeah.
That really went somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. What else do we have on this? So we both got Ospreay beating MJF to become the new AEW American champion, but he probably changed the name of that belt. How about Jack Perry defending the AEW TNT title against Darby Allin? I think Darby wins. It's a coffin match. That's a Darby match.
Yeah, but I think because it's a coffin match, so Darby can lose because he doesn't get pinned. So I think that's going to happen. Even though apparently Sting is around, but what he, I guess, tweeted out or something that maybe he'll show up. So Sting might. I think one of Sting's sons is apparently in London. So yeah, there might be a lot of Sting showing up.
The Stanger.
So that actually does help Darby in this case, but I feel this match is set up that Darby can lose. It's a coffin match. Like, Darby doesn't need to win every coffin match.
I think Darby will win. How about that?
All right. I mean, again, we thought there'd be title changes, so sure.
I think Darby's also the greatest TNT champion in the history of the TNT Championship.
I thought Christian did very well with it. And I think Edge as well.
Yeah, short time. Darby's runs have been great.
Yeah, but also short, though, too, Darby.
Yeah, but, God, he's magical. He's so good. I love Darby Allin. I hope he wins. I hope he wins everything. He's fantastic. I got Darby winning. You got Jack Perry winning. And I think that's the only match on this whole card that we disagree on. Because every other match we have done and agreed upon.
We still have a pre-show match. I imagine there'll be more pre-show matches that they haven't announced that will happen, but we have at least one pre-show match.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. It's Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii versus Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. That seems like a mismatch. I'm going to go with Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii, where the winning team will choose the stipulation of the match between Nightingale and Statlander at All Out. Okay, so Willow and Statlander will wrestle each other at All Out. We know that. And there'll be a stipulation choice on the line. I figure Nightingale and Ishii should win because Stokely is not a wrestler.
Right, it's to give them a moment, and you could see Statlander winning that match at All Out. So, yeah, sure.
There you go. AEW All In. We're going to be on right after All In Sunday evening. About, what did he say, 5 p.m.? This will be a 4-hour show?
I think you're looking at 5 to 6. I mean, again, AEW shows can kind of extend a little bit sometimes. They go longer than you expect. So
yeah,
I would say between 5 and 6.
Yeah, we'll probably be on around 5. It might be 5:30, right? I think between 5 and 5:30. I'm not saying 6 because if they can't do a 5-hour show. They do have 9 matches on the pay-per-view. Pay-per-view starts at 1 p.m. They got 9 matches on the show. I think they could get it done in 4 hours.
They could.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out, and we'll be on right afterwards. Whenever it's over, 5:30, we'll be on Sunday night to recap it all. How about that?
It should be one of the better AEW pay-per-views you see this year, too. So, I mean, last year's was probably their best one, so this one has a lot to live up to, but it has the potential.
It's an AEW pay-per-view on a Sunday night that we can actually do a post-show for because, it's not late. So that's nice.
And it's the last AEW pay-per-view on a Sunday, I believe, this year. The rest are all on Saturdays.
Excellent. AEW All Out, I do know, is on a Saturday. It is, 13 days after All In? 13 days.
Pretty much.
September 7th. Saturday in Chicago. AEW's All Out. So we'll do a post show for that one as well. A lot of action here from AEW on the Ringside Report Network. Got a lot going on here, and I'm looking forward to AEW's All In. I was showing the card to my son earlier, and he was like, whoa. He was hyped for some of these matches. Jack Perry, Darby Allin, he's excited about. He's excited about Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker. That's a big one. Sasha Banks versus Britt Baker. That's like worlds colliding. He's really hyped for that. He's very hyped for the 3-way tag match, like FTR, Bucks, and the Acclaimed. He knows all those teams, and he likes them all. So he's excited for that. Swerve and Bryan, he's very excited about. He thinks the 4-way ladder match will be fun because he likes ladder matches. You know, the one match I told him about that he didn't care for, and he was like, yeah, I don't care about either of these people.
What match?
Tony Storm and Mariah May. Doesn't give a shit about either of them.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's seen the 3-way kiss and all that, so it doesn't have the same effect. Yeah, I don't think he has. Even if he wouldn't care as much as we probably do, so it doesn't have the same effect.
I don't show him a lot of the Tony Storm because I don't think he'd really... It's not for kids, Like, Tony Storm's character is for adults, I think.
Well, I thought her wrestling, again, I thought the wrestling match with Saraya, I highly enjoyed that match. I know some people complained about how some of the spot looked kind of stupid, but that's wrestling. Like, some wrestling spots might look stupid. Like, whipping a person into the ropes is kind of stupid, but in wrestling, it makes sense. Like, the stuff they did made sense. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's bad.
I like Tony Storm. I like a Tony Storm.
But you didn't see that? There was like a spot they did near the beginning. Tony and Saraya did. People were like, oh, this is garbage. And it's like, yeah, people were mad saying this is garbage. And it's like, well, one, like, they've done the exact same spot in WWE. So, like, it's not an uncommon spot. And, like, maybe for you, it doesn't make sense. But, wrestling.
People want to grab a thing and act like they're mad. It's like, come on, dude. People could get mad about an Irish whip. Get mad about that if you want to. Like, if you're going to start picking out wrestling moves that don't make sense, well, how about an Irish whip, which we all accept as fine. But if you throw a man into ropes, he's not going to run and then bounce off the ropes and then keep running at you. Exactly. That's not how throwing people work. Try to do that to a person. See what happens. They'll take maybe a few steps, If you're really strong, you might be able to send somebody flying, but I bet they won't hit the ropes perfectly, turn, and then keep running towards you because the momentum would stop. They may hit the ropes belly. If you throw somebody really hard, what's going to happen is they're going to hit the ropes belly first and they're going to flip over the ring. They're going to, they're going to fall out. That's what's going to happen if you actually can manage to Irish whip somebody so hard. You just do a really hard arm drag and you're 10 times stronger than the person. You know what I mean? That's what would happen. Or they would just fall to the ground because their legs are moving faster than their body can handle. You're not going to run into the ropes, turn, hit them, and run towards your opponent. Yet we all accept that as fine. So when people go, well, that wouldn't work, and that wouldn't... It's like, shut up, dude. Do you actually know what would work in a fight? Because most of the shit that they're doing on the TV wouldn't actually work in a fight. So, you got to suspend disbelief sometimes.
I enjoyed the match. I thought it was, again, kind of short, though, but it worked for what it was.
Mm-hmm. So Tony Storm, not really for the kids. You know who is for the kids, John, I noticed? LA Knight. Yeah, LA Knight beat Santos Escobar tonight. And but like all the kids in the audience were standing and going nuts for LA Knight. I noticed that. My son was hyped watching SmackDown with me, and like all the kids in the audience were all up and cheering for LA Knight. He's over it with the children.
Well, he's got a great catchphrase. He's very loud. He's very commanding.
Yeah. And I think like the kids are young enough that they don't really make the association with Stone Cold or The Rock. Like the main criticism you hear about LA Knight is like kind of older guys going, well, he's trying to just be like Stone Cold and The Rock. But the kids, like, they don't care. They don't remember. They have no recollection of that time. They weren't alive. So they're just like, yeah, this guy's fun. Which is, I think, the right attitude.
It was weird because I noticed a lot of What t-shirts. And it happened to be during LA Knight's match. I don't know if that was done intentionally or not. I don't know if you caught that or not.
No.
But there was a lot of What t-shirts for whatever reason.
Well, if LA Knight is for the kids, John, is CM Punk, what did he call himself on Raw this week? Taylor Swift for men?
That's right.
What does that even mean? He doesn't sing music songs. Also, here's what I appreciate about the comment, John, which before you get all mad and offended, which I don't know if we should be offended. I'm not really offended. I don't care.
I'm disappointed.
He can say whatever he wants. I think it's fine. I really don't get it. I don't get why you're mad. I don't really get what he meant, but I don't really get why you're mad. What I think is really funny about that statement is that he says that he's Taylor Swift for men, which is to say that if you are a man, you shouldn't be into Taylor Swift.
That's true. I didn't. Yeah.
Which is a fact, Jack. Taylor Swift is for ladies. And even then. But like men's? Grown men's? No. So when CM Punk goes, I'm Taylor Swift for men, I go, yeah, I mean, we're all, a lot of pro wrestling dudes are kind of like obsessed with everything CM Punk does and says. Kind of like some of the teen ladies are, or grown ladies, I guess at this point, are obsessed with Taylor Swift and everything she does and says. I guess that's a valid comparison. I don't really get it because I don't really understand the fascination with Taylor Swift. I understand the fascination with CM Punk. He's cool and he talks trash and he cuts good promos. He's like a modern-day Roddy Piper. Taylor Swift sings songs about stuff I don't even know. I'm not interested. Like, I've heard it here and there, and I go, that's not what I want to hear, and then I don't listen to it. You hear it in the background, you go, who is that? And they go, oh, that's Taylor Swift. I go, oh, that's Taylor Swift. And then I keep moving. I'm like, yeah, I don't like this. You hear it in a store or something, see her on TV in a commercial, you're like, oh, that's Taylor Swift, eh? This is her song? Let me hear this. Everybody listens to Taylor Swift. Let's see what this is like. And you listen to it for like a minute and a half, and you're like, oh, this is not for me. If it's for you, that's fine. But CM Punk, if you're a grown man and you're into it, CM Punk is taking your man card away. He's taking it away, and I'm taking it away too. God damn it! Don't be a bitch. Don't be a grown man listening to Taylor Swift, man. Come on, let's be cool as men. Like, let's not do that shit. Like a grown man Swiftie. Fuck out of here, man. I'm not like that's not cool. It's hard to respect that. I'll tell you this much. I have not met a grown man Swiftie on the mats in a jiu-jitsu gym. Haven't met that. Haven't come across that. Like a big Taylor Swift fan that's also could choke you unconscious. I haven't met that guy. He probably exists. I'm not saying he doesn't exist. But there's not a lot of them. It just seems a little, you know.
Yeah, but you know AJ DeLucio, so I mean,
does he
isn't
like
he a
Taylor
big
Swift?
Swiftie? I thought he did. Doesn't he?
I don't think he could really
show?
name her songs, man. I think he just says he likes Taylor Swift because he likes to go with the trends. You know what I mean?
Right. Still,
you listen to Taylor Swift, John?
I've unfortunately had to because at some points they've included her song into like wrestling montages. I don't know if you saw that before in the past. Oh yeah, and like Botchamania, like so many times they've added Taylor Swift songs into.
Oh, in Botchamania. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean you've heard it because you've watched Botchamania, so of course.
Yeah.
And it can be funny. And
if you're if you're a grown man going out of your way to listen to Taylor Swift on your own, and this is what the music that you're into, you're like, she's my favorite artist. I'm buying the tickets, brother. Hell yeah. I go, what? I don't think anybody's saying, hell yeah, brother. I got my Taylor Swift fucking right. I don't think anybody's saying that. If they are, man, good on you, I guess. It's just not for me. And I just thought CM Punk's comment was funny. Because to me, I just heard it as, I'm Taylor Swift for men. And I was like, yeah, Taylor Swift is not for men. I'm a man. I don't like you. I think you're cool. I agree, I guess.
See, I could see grown men like yourself be excited for her because, you know, you have a daughter and one day possibly a Swiftie, so it's not impossible. It could happen.
I hope not. My kids have
you hope not.
Taste, you know?
But I've seen it with other people, though, where it's like their kids are Taylor Swift fans, so it could happen to you.
It could happen to me, man. I hope it doesn't, but it could happen to me. You know? It's not something I'm concerned about, though. I'll tell you that much. I don't really care if it happens or not.
I saw the rumors she might be at All In. Because
yo, if my son's into Taylor Swift, though, then I'd be like, yo, dude, come on. We don't do that shit. No.
Well, I already questioned like the people he likes in wrestling, so I'm not a fan of Pretty Deadly. Like we can get into it, but we don't have to. Like
he likes LA Knight. He likes a lot of cool people in wrestling, including Pretty Deadly, who I also love. So let's be cool, John.
They didn't do too much this week, which is
not
good.
Enough. Not enough.
Just be in the background, be characters like that. That works. Hold a crown, you know, walk away. Though that segment was kind of stupid too. Like you have what was it, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven like trashing Nia, and Nia's just hiding behind a wall that clearly that they can see her, but yeah, they're talking trash behind. Like that looks so bad, terrible, horrific. Be ashamed of themselves.
It was very cheesy. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven saying, "Ooh, Tiffy times only being nice to Nia because she's gonna turn her back because she's got the money in the bank." And Nia's hearing this like, are they right? Is she gonna turn on me? I never thought of that. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's got the money in the bank. You're the champion. What do you mean you never thought of that? Well, you know what I'm saying? That was dumb as hell. Dumb as hell.
Too many soap opera writers, I think, possibly.
It was just cheesy. Also, why was Carmelo Hayes in a barbershop getting confronted by Andrade, and why did no one go through a window in a barbershop? Like, if there's a barbershop segment, somebody's got to go through a window. No one went through a window. They just kind of yelled at each other. That sucked.
And the fact that Andrade knew exactly when to burst in at the right time, too. Like, wow, like, you got to be on the ball with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not wrong. Like, SmackDown wasn't that good this week, sadly.
No, it was boring. SmackDown was boring this week. SmackDown and Raw both boring. This was an AEW week for sure. AEW won the week. They got their big pay-per-view, 50,000 plus at Wembley Stadium on Sunday. This is an AEW week. Solo Sikoa took the tag team title away from Jacob Fatu and made him give it to Tonga Loa. Was it because Jacob's hurt or because he wanted to make Jacob his own personal enforcer? It seemed like he had two reasons for it.
But wasn't Jacob brought in to be the enforcer originally? Like,
Yeah.
Wasn't that already stated?
Yeah.
Like, that, I didn't get that.
Me neither. That promo was weird and didn't really work.
I felt they just came up with an excuse, and it's like, well, you've already used that excuse in the past that he's the enforcer, but that means he can't be a champion? Why? If that's the excuse that you've already used in the past, why was he in the match in the first place?
Exactly.
But whatever. Let them do what they want. It doesn't really matter in the end. I mean, the tag titles on SmackDown are like one of the lowest level titles in all of WWE, so who really cares?
Yeah. They're about as low level as the Raw. And I was saying how the Raw tag team titles, just as useless as the SmackDown tag team titles. The tag team championships have been totally demoted. There we go. I think we're back, John. Sorry about that. I think we're back.
It happens.
Yeah. The tag team title is just meaningless these days, both on SmackDown and on Raw. I would contest that they mean more on SmackDown than they do on Raw. They mean nothing on Raw.
Well, it's Judgment Day right now, right?
Exactly.
It's funny. It's on both Judgment Day and Bloodline.
That's what I'm saying. It's the goon groups that are holding them. And they mean nothing on either show. Who are the main challengers? At least on SmackDown, you had Street Profits challenging tonight. You got DIY in the mix. On Raw, there are no challengers.
Well, this was the problem with making disputed tag titles. Like, it's better with the women's division that they go back and forth between Raw and SmackDown. It kind of keeps it fresh. But on Raw and SmackDown, it's like you get stuck into these one or two teams, and then that's it. Nothing happens, and they just go back and forth. Like, we already did Bloodline DIY, and now we're going to do it again. Then we go back and forth with the Street Profits. There's the lack of depth to the tag team division. Two sets of tag titles is too much.
Is it possibly time to, for just a brief run, have Rhea and Priest take the tag team titles off of JD and Finn?
I mean, it'd be fun if that happened. I mean, it's believable if that happened, but they don't like to do that too much. The whole, like, women against men kind of thing.
Yeah, but then you could do Rhea and Priest versus Dom and Liv for the WWE tag team titles.
Yeah. It's not great, but I see what happened.
What else are they doing?
And not much of anything. So, yeah, that's why it could very well happen.
That's what I'm saying. And there you have it. There you have it. Johnny, we will be back Sunday night right after AEW's All In around 5 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the Ringside Report Network. I want to thank all the members for checking us out here tonight and staying with us during that technical glitch. Sorry about that, guys. Jason, Pete, Angelo, Contagonis, Antoinette, CSL Lorne,